Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me, Amber Bach, for my week 4 presentation on generations and how to manage them. So I personally fall under the Generation Y category. I agree that I'm confident, social, tenacious. I disagree with the lack of skills for dealing with difficult people. I'm actually the designated person on my team to handle difficult claims and difficult insureds, claimants, law offices, because I know how to handle them accordingly and still maintain that high survey score that is required of us. Work environment, we like home office, flexible schedules. I don't necessarily agree with that one either for myself. I don't really care about a flexible schedule. I'm used to working odd hours. I'm also fine working a regular desk job. I hardly ever really take vacations. I actually would fall more under the boomer aspect in that way because I am always one to work long hours if necessary. I'm always one to volunteer to do additional tasks, and I'm very motivated and goal oriented in that aspect. Motivators, Gen Y is motivated by maintaining personal life. I also disagree with that one for myself specifically. I don't really care about the personal life aspect. I really just want to make money to be able to buy a condo or buy a house and make sure I have a good car. So motivator for me, not the personal life. And then with regard to retention, we would stay due to personal relationships. I also disagree with that one. I'm more under the boomer attribute for that as well. I am staying for money. I do not necessarily care about personal relationships. Yes, I have great relationships with my coworkers, but if this is a career where I find myself stuck and I have other goals and ambitions that I want to achieve, I'm not going to stay somewhere just because I have a good relationship with my coworkers. What I thought was interesting is that I actually greatly identify with the Gen X. I have a positive attitude. I can somewhat be impatient because I want to achieve my goals as quickly as possible. I multitask. I highly dislike being micromanaged. That's why it's been great for the past 2 months working from home, because that micromanagement aspect has essentially been eliminated. However, we're going back into the office in the next couple of weeks, so I'm going to get back to that. But also, like the hands-off management philosophy. Again, I'm highly self-motivated. I do not need someone breathing down my neck telling me what to do. I know how to do my job. And then I would agree with the just a job aspect of Gen X. Although I do have loyalty to the company, like I said, if I'm not obtaining my personal goals in this career, then I'll move on. So one of my coworkers on my team, she falls under the baby boomer category. However, she is all over the place with regard to this generation. According to the lecture, this generation is big picture, fresh perspective, team-oriented, personal growth, no absolutes. My teammate is not really team-oriented. She likes to just do her own thing, come in. Yes, of course she talks to us, but she is all about herself. She doesn't really care about personal growth. She has no goals or ambitions either within the company or to leave the company. She actually retires in 7 years, so she's just focused on getting her time in. Essentially, that's what she says, just getting her time in and getting out. Her attire, she does abide by that business casual. However, it's not really on the high end. She's much more casual than business. I tend to actually dress more professional than she does, just because I am following the dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have. She does not fall under the long hours aspect of the generation. She, right at her 8 hours, clocks out, has no desire to stay any longer than that. However, I would agree her motivators and retention for staying with the company is both salary based. So if a manager were going to lead her according to her generation, it would not be successful because she is all over the place in her generation. She doesn't follow under really any of the attributes that they say a person from this generation would have. So, how to manage different generations and the approach. I definitely do not believe that it is universal. Like I stated going over myself and my teammate, neither of us really fall strictly into our boxes of our generations. So if a manager were going to manage that way, like, oh, I will treat boomers this way, Gen Xers this way, millennials this way, then it would not be successful, because not everyone falls under their box. I do believe that under McGregor's theory X and theory Y, management should follow the theory Y aspect, that individuals are highly self-motivated, especially if management, if they did want to kind of have like a generational management style, then based off of the lecture, they would treat millennials under the theory Y, and they would actually treat boomers under the theory X style. However, I noticed in my company, they treat all of us as if we are theory X and we are only working for money and we need to be micromanaged. But I would personally utilize the theory Y, that individuals are highly self-motivated and want to get the job done. And then also I would utilize Mary Parker Follett's relationship focused management style. I actually would make things very individualized. I would utilize probably that temperament survey that we discussed in Kiersey's book for leadership. I actually learned a lot about why my manager and I have so many differences, because our temperaments are so different and our communication styles are different, motivators. So if a manager is able to really get to know their subordinates in that way, then they can manage each person accordingly, rather than just having a blanket, oh, I'm going to handle this generation this way, or I'm going to handle this generation that way. Alrighty, here are my references, and thank you so much. I appreciate all your time.